Hello everyone, good morning to all of you. I hope you all are fine and safe. So today we are going to read our next prose, Albert Einstein at School, which is written by Patrick Pringle from the book Snapshots. Albert Einstein, 1879-1955, is regarded as the greatest physicist since Newton. In the following extract from the young Einstein, the well-known biographer Patrick Pringle describes the circumstances which led to Albert Einstein's expulsion from a German school. So in this prose, we are going to learn or we are going to know about the different kinds of problems that Albert Einstein, the famous scientist, we all know about him. So there is no need to give any kind of introduction regarding this famous personality, right? So we are going to know about the different kinds of problems that he faced as a child when he was in school and what kind of solutions he ultimately have found out at that time. But before going into the text, there are some points that I need to tell you. This prose will also be talking about, as I said, the struggle of the genius, the education system, the traditional ways of teaching, whether it is good or bad, that we will judge in this text, the importance of new ideas and creativity, and how this prose is having a kind of connection with the famous film Tare Zameen Par. So let's read the text, and it's very interesting. So pay attention and let's start. In what year, Einstein, asked the history teacher, did the Prussians defeat the French at Waterloo? So we can see that this is a classroom scene where the history teacher is asking Einstein about a question from the subject history. Einstein: I don't know, sir. Why don't you know? You have been told it's often enough. I must have forgotten. Did you ever try to learn? Asked Mr. Bruin. So this is the history teacher, and he is saying, he is now scolding the student, he is now scolding Einstein. Why? No, sir, Albert replied with his usual unthinking honesty. And now Albert Einstein is just giving his clarification honestly that no, sir, I have never tried to learn or I have never tried to memorize this kind of things that is related to historical evidence or information. Why not? Albert: I can't see any point in learning dates. One can always look them up in a book. Now he is saying that there is no importance of learning dates for him because you can get it in the book. Mr. Bruin was speechless for a few moments. You amaze me, Einstein, he said at last. Don't you realize that one can always look most things up in books? That applies to all the facts you learn at school. So for you, the teacher is now saying, for you there is no importance of the dates. So what is the importance that you are coming to school? That you applies to all the facts you learn at school? Yes, sir. Then I suppose you don't see any point in learning facts. Frankly, sir, I don't, said Albert. Now Albert is saying that no, sir, I don't find any kind of importance while reading or memorizing this kind of facts, this kind of things. Then you don't believe in education at all? Oh yes, sir, I do. I don't think learning facts is education. Now what he is saying that according to Einstein, this kind of learning facts, this kind of memorizing this kind of things, dates, this is not at all a valid education for him. Why? Maybe he is having different kinds of thoughts in his mind regarding this education system. So he is asking questions to the authority, to the system, that what is the importance of these traditional ways of teaching. So let's see. In that case, said the history teacher with heavy sarcasm, perhaps you will be so kind as to tell the class the Einstein's theory of education. Now the history teacher is mocking at him. Then tell us, what is your theory about education? Albert flushed. I think it's not facts that matters, but ideas, he said. Now Albert Einstein is saying that for me it is not facts which is important. For me what is important? The importance of new ideas, creativity, he said. I don't see the point in learning the dates of battles or even which of the armies killed more men. I would be more interested in learning why those soldiers were trying to kill each other. So for me, the dates of the battle or the wars are not important. For me, what is important? Why they are killing each other in such kind of battles that we are reading in history. That's enough. Mr. Bruin's eyes were cold and cruel. We don't want a lecture from you, Einstein. You will stay in for an extra period today. Although I don't imagine it will do you much good. It won't do the school any good either. You are a disgrace. I don't know why you continue to come. Now, the punishment that he is saying, that you have to stay for one more extra period in the school, but that will also not do any kind of good thing to you. Why are you coming to school? Einstein. It's not my wish, sir, Albert pointed out. Then you are an ungrateful boy and ought to be ashamed of yourself. I suggest you ask your father to take you away. Now the teacher is saying that then go, let us leave all these things and please leave us also so that we can continue our work. You go from our school. Albert felt miserable when he left school that afternoon. Not that it had been a bad day. Most days were bad now anyway. So every day is for him in this same kind of day he is having. The scolding, this kind of arguments with the teachers. But because he had to go back to the hateful place the next morning, he only wished his father would take him away, but there was no point in even asking. So he is not having any kind of wish to go back to school, so he is only praying that probably my father will take me away from this kind of school. But there is no point of thinking, his father is not going to take him. He knew what the answer would be. He would have to stay until he had taken this diploma. So he is there only to receive the diploma, because it was the wish of his father, or you can say the order of the father. Going back to his lodgings did not cheer him up. His father had so little money to spare that Albert had been found a room in one of the poorest quarters of Munich. So we are getting the place, that is Munich. And here Albert is having his lodgings, which is not at all good because the father is not having that much of money to keep his son in such a comfortable place. He did not mind the bad food and lack of comfort or even the dirt and squalor, but he hated the atmosphere of slum violence. So for him, the dirt, squalor, food, comfort, that is not a problem. For him, what is the most important thing, most problematic part for Albert? The slum of the, the violence of these slum areas. The violence of the slum areas. His landlady beat her children regularly, and even every Saturday her husband came drunk and beat her. So this is the family problem that he is facing as a renter, because the landlady is having the family problems, the husband is coming and beating her, she is beating the children. So a kind of chaos that he is every day facing as a renter. But at least you have a room of your own, which is more than I can say, said Yuri, what he called round in the evening. So we are getting the first friend in this chapter, that is Yuri, and Yuri is saying to Albert that at least you are having the room. So let's stop here and we will get to know the rest of the story in the upcoming videos.